go. Crash and flow.
But like, it hurts my soul, is what it is because like I'm like, you're taxing me on stuff that's already been taxed. Why are you even doing this?
They're
Like,
taxing you like a poor person. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I think the middle class is the new poor, bro.
yeah, man. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they were like, "It's like a third world country here." And I like try to correct them in a way, but I was just like, I get it. I'm not gonna, I get it. I know we're not pooping in the ground,
Right.
but
Beginning,
geez, everybody's broke. You know,
Yeah.
all of these people have professional jobs, and they're just saving up for that one vacation or that one thing that hopefully doesn't go right or wrong. And it's
Once a
crazy.
year.
Yeah, man, it's cool because the only way to kind of escape it is to move to the empire, because that'll be the last thing to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Escape what? Taxes?
no, this lifestyle.
Oh.
So, like, whenever there's this lifestyle, whatever the ruling empire is at the time, of course, this one's crumbling, the Western one.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you gotta try
We
to
need
move.
another empire.
Yeah, jeez.
I guess we go to Arab Empire.
Yeah, they're good for a while as long as they'll have us, but they're also like they're kicking out foreigners left, right, and center as well.
Yeah, they are.
Just they don't have to do it as meanly. They're not coming to the roof.
Also, when you got there, you knew the social contract.
Exactly. That's
Right?
one thing.
Yeah,
well,
no.
it's because they also let you through the front door, so you understood the contract. It wasn't.
Yeah,
You're just
that's
like,
true.
dude,
You didn't go to Disneyland.
I was following this Indian guy's. He went from India to like the tip of South America, and then he like went through 16 countries to walk from Mexico to the States, and then he got arrested. And his journey was, I was like, bro, like
That's crazy.
yeah, it was wild how much walking this guy did
Man.
to eventually get deported.
At that point, where was he originally? When?
He's Indian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where a lot of like you speak to a lot of Bangladeshi people here, and they're from Dhaka. It's just some places you're born and you're like, oh, we're not. This isn't it. This is
We
not.
can't do this.
There's too many lizards or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm gonna have to do what? And it was so hard to get into the States. I mean, it is now a little bit easier back in the day, where they're like, you have this much education, this many points.
Right.
Now it's just like, you have $5 million. You're like, this is a robber. What are you doing?
Is it really that much now? It's like
There's
a tremendous amount of money.
There's a Trump card now, which is
Oh
$5
my
million.
god! I did not know that they actually deployed that for real. That is insane pay to play.
That's I asked ChatGPT and it said it's not called a Trump, but it's the same. Like you got a insane pay to play.
Yeah.
But
That's crazy, dude.
yeah, man. We're lucky our parents came in when they did, man. I don't have to deal with some racism, but racism
That
compared
literally was the Goldilocks window,
yeah.
right? Actually, I think it was even better a little bit before. Like, so my dad was here in early, like right in the top of the 80s.
Right.
80s, 90s, baby.
Yeah, we
That
did
was-
early 90s.
That was the
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. you did Jurassic Park. I did Home Alone.
Home Alone. You know.
Those that
Bro, like
that
some
era.
of that stuff, you started looking into like, hey, they wouldn't let black people own property.
But just
Hey.
after that, though.
And then it was like right before that was black people were property. Like it's like 3 generations of minorities are like, it was
Here?
wild.
This is horrible here.
Bro, it was crazy. Or even the women stuff where they're like, a woman would be diagnosed with cancer, but they wouldn't tell her. They would only tell her husband because like women would get too hysterical.
Hysterical, yeah.
That's TVs were around when they were doing that.
That's true.
That's not like, hundreds of years ago.
That being said, could it be, like a merciful thing, or be like, listen, if we break the news, this might be rough. Maybe if you did it, you can do it in a more gentle way.
I mean, very honestly, no, it's not, right? Because you wouldn't give that courtity to a man. You just tell a man. Because,
We expect you to take it.
because he's a
And not
person.
cause a scene.
Yeah. That's why it's wrong. Is because it's like, they wouldn't. Anyways.
They're busy. The doctors, they don't have time.
No, it's just that's where, it's like it's so much social stuff has changed and whatnot, but like it was crazy so recently that like I get why feminists are so angry. Because if you read about it, you're like, no, it's 1 grandma ago. It's not even 3 grandmas ago.
Right.
It's 1 grandma ago. You could go to school to be a lawyer, but you couldn't be a lawyer.
Mhm.
Like
yeah.
it's like well, we can't trust them to fly something, like,
I mean, that's doing a comeback.
what do you mean?
The whole women pilot thing.
Is it?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
yeah.
I'm positive it's not.
No.
It's one of the professions women go into the least.
Yeah, and like Trump is still upset about because it was there was
That's
a
'cause he's
couple.
making it up.
There was a couple of the what is it? Because there was an unprecedented amount of crashes recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they just rode that wave, and they'd be like, and another thing, women shouldn't fly.
It's the same thing they did with almost anything. It was like rape was on the rise, and they're just like, you know what? We're giving too much meat to black people. Like that was a thing. Like a thing. It's just like if you're an asshole, like you don't need any justification to say asshole stuff.
Right. Yeah.
God bless him. Like he's such an asshole.
Oh,
There's no proof when the DI stuff like planes are crashing. Oh, it's minorities.
must be.
And they're like, what? Like everybody's like, what? Were they minorities? Like he doesn't know. He just
He's just saying
it's a hunch.
It's like they're eating the pets. Remember that?
Yeah.
They're eating the
That's
pets.
why the DI stuff was like stupid to. It was a weird thing to rile up against because all the examples were these like weird situations of like things that don't matter. But like the reason DI was put in place, to actually fix long-standing structural shortcomings of a system that was holding minorities and
Right.
people of different genders down.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty silly in terms of like the headlines on the weirdest way DEI was being implemented,
Right.
because that gives something for people to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. Also, the thing is that I don't think that, to give credit to the other side though, is
Which
that
side?
the ones that are so upset about DEI,
Sure.
is that there tends to be an overcorrection of things whenever you're riling against a true how do we say injustice, right? Like it's a sliding scale on how far you want to fight it, right? And being able to find your like balance where you don't push too far. That's how you get like what's the word? Man, we are fasting guys, by the way. So if our word recall is not good, sorry. Like you get like extreme XYZ, whatever it is that you want. That overcorrection. And then there's a lot of times where it's like, well, now is our time, right? So they lean even more to it.
The thing that was wrong for like generations,
Yeah.
like all of history.
Yeah.
And the overcorrection has to happen for like 5 years. And they're like, this is too much of an overcorrection. It's not fair. It's not.
No, I think
the
that's,
overcorrections they barely overcorrect for like just until it clocks, and they're like, this is an overcorrection, we got to stop it.
right.
Do you find that as well?
Well, no, I mean, like, I'm not going to be,
Because they're taking out DI from almost everything now. And it just got here.
Right,
it wasn't
right.
even an acronym until, it wasn't an acronym when my kid was born. He's
Yeah.
4.
yeah, that's true.
And now they're taking it out of everything.
yeah. I did not know that they were actively pulling it out. I know that they were doing it out of the military.
Military, government, most major corporations are letting go of their DEI stuff now because of different pressures and whatnot.
Right.
This thing didn't
Oh, it's just because it's not
exist.
popular. Most companies didn't give a shit one way or another about DEI.
Right. That's what I'm saying is that the overcorrection to take things away from minorities or women, it barely has to register. And they're like, this was an overcorrection. We got to stop these.
Right. And then now the overcorrection to the overcorrection is also insane. Like
It's just back to norm.
It just lacks the honesty of, I think, like the honesty of whoever is trying to do the correction, whatever it is they feel like the correction that needs to be done. They always feel like you got to correct it way past the point. It always seems that that's the case.
Not in this case, though, right? It did not get corrected way past the point. You look at any board, you look at any structure of power,
Yeah,
they didn't put minorities in there. They just, soon as it started registering, they were like, we got to stop DEI.
Right.
Look at it, right? Like,
Yeah, no, I know. Like upper levels of all companies for the most part.
companies,
Yeah.
educational system, judicial systems, any pillar of government, right? Education, law,
Yeah.
it's all the same.
No, I think that there's some states who like where the minority has been able to get a representative amount of faces within higher levels of power in the States. I don't quite remember exactly what. I'm not speaking to Canada, but like I know that there are certain states that it has corrected to some degree, like in higher positions of power in like the police force and mayorship and whatever. So like that's happened. Has it gone across the board? It's obviously not, right? And then with regards to the military thing, like I don't know enough about it. I'm assuming that like they're trying to. It's more about like, you know, how many. They're thinking that there's too many females in the SEAL teams or something like this. Is that what is that their main thing?
No, no one's trying to get
Because they don't have problems getting minorities to die for a country. They've never had that problem.
The problem is they only let them at the class where they get to die for their country.
Yeah.
They don't get to be. You go up the ranks, and it's not like, oh, there's a proportionate amount of people at this level as that level as that level. I'm not saying the same amount, but it's not proportional.
Yeah.
Same thing for like, if a bank says we have 15% minorities, it's going to be at the teller level or the FSR level. It's not the branch manager or corporate level or the board level.
Yeah. So
Soon as they say like, look at all these 15%, you know, that's almost too much. Actually, we should stop this. That's what I'm saying. It's like they're not looking for meaningful, you know, whatever.
No, it's true. At that, especially specifically for what you're saying, as once when it gets to the higher levels is where it was counting. And the thing is that the program needs to be in place long enough for the people who have entered at the bottom work their way up.
But soon as you start making like whoever people in power in this situation, maybe white people, you get them riled up a little bit about like, look, DEI.
They're coming for you.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Like they're literally trying to dismantle it, and it's pretty, you know, easy to dismantle because it was barely on its baby legs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the Goldilocks zone. There was a time or whatnot, and yeah. Anyways, it's turmoil. But I don't know. I think about this with my kid. I'm like, I hope he's becomes a robot or something as he gets older. Like, what's gonna be the safest thing for him to be in? So. Maybe medicine.
I know. And even then, I was at a family's place, and all of the kids are pursuing some level of most of them are pursuing some level of medical degree to become doctors or whatnot. And they're talking about how like it's not even worth it now. You know?
Yeah.
And it's a little heartbreaking because like they're in like at least two of them are on the cusp of, you know, whatever is the like rotations or something like this. What is it called when you're just graduate and you got to go to the hospital to do you watch Scrubs? How do you not?
Yeah, I know. That's what I was trying to channel. I'm like my Scrubs. I was like, come on, JD. I think it's your rotations.
No,
your Scrubs hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess whoever is listening, they know what it is.
You know those when you're paying your dues and you're treated like crap.
Yeah. But
you got to go into the right medicine. You got to like be a certain type of dermatologist. I don't know. You know, there's like some of those specializations are.
Yeah, they were telling the story about this guy who was like registered plastic surgeon, ready to go. Like he was. Now all you need to do is start
cutting people.
That's it.
Yeah.
And became a YouTuber instead.
Oh man.
And he talks about like productivity. And he makes more money that way. Just talking about productivity.
Yeah, that's not a surefire. Like inshallah, he'll be able to continue, but that's not like
it's not for everybody.
Yeah, it's not like you're gonna.
But I'm wondering though, right? Because when we're growing up, right? It'd be like doctor, engineer, lawyer. You know, those are the options to choose, right? And so it always felt like if you had made because doctor is number one always.
Doctor is number one,
right?
Yep.
So if you made it to doctor, like you were worthy of more praise, right? Especially in the immigrant community,
right. Especially in the immigrant, like that's our race car driver or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then right after that, right, when you become a doctor, then you have a level of influence in your household, right? Like if you're the eldest son and you're a doctor, your opinion on cars is taken more seriously in the household by the parents than any other kid who like you could have a kid also who's a mechanic and the doctor says you should get this car. They'd be like, he's a doctor, so therefore.
He went to school for 8 years. He must know something about something.
And it turns out, dude, that just like in anything else, there's only a few that are truly good.
Doctors?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take them at their, you're like, all right, that's your zone.
Yeah,
I think that was just our parents. Like, I don't, do you look at a doctor like with some sort of reverence?
no.
Me neither. But that's also because I know so many.
But I mean, I get. Well, I guess that would play into it but for me, it was like the failings of Western medicine with regards to my health.
Yeah.
So like, but it turns out like if you have like this social construct of saying like being a doctor is where you will get the most worth and recognition from your community and your family and your whatnot, you will start seeing doctors that really are not really good at it, right? But they've done it and they've definitely grinded their way into becoming a doctor.
Right.
But like there's a level of like whatever when you have a doctor, you want the doctor who loves this shit for the most part, right? Maybe you get jaded over time, but at some time you had started it, and you were like, hey man, I really like it.
Yeah.
It turns out that there are some doctors now, even younger ones, that are like they shouldn't be there. It was because of like pressures to do it.
Yeah. Who's going to pick a profession perfectly that young? It's like, it's whatever you kind of got told into a little bit.
For sure. I don't like the thing is that like I don't know how you manage this so that you can have your kid make the right decision, right? Because like the thing is like I like cars, right? I could be a mechanic or I could be like mechanical engineer. There was different layers of doing the same thing kinda, right? Where you could be like you're kind of doing what you like, right? Gears here, right? But there's other things where like, maybe the kid should be a painter.
That's how the conversation started. I was like, I don't know what I want my son to go into. Doctor, maybe, right? It's because somebody who cares about their kid is not looking at their passions.
Right.
You're like life is going to be very hard and very expensive. What do we do that you are not, painting a subway for money? What do we do?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to put them in something they're not extremely passionate about, and you send them to private school first and then specialized school, and then before you know it, they're in med school, and you picked out their whole life. I think like my kid's situation could be something like that.
Yeah.
Most people who've done well for themselves, that's kind of what they do with their kids. Is like, all right, how do I set you up for success?
Yeah.
And then your kid is like, all right, bend over. Just like putting their finger in a butthole and shit. It's not what any kid wants to do when they're a kid, you know?
Yeah. And then the thing is also it depends on how you deploy it, right? Because I'm sure there's plenty of kids who are in a field that they don't like, but because their parents are good people, they're like, you know what? I wish I was something else, but I have a solid job, I have a family, I have kids, and I have whatnot. And I do some hobbies on the weekends and whatnot, but I appreciate what my family tried to do for me, right? And then there's other ones that got deployed wrong. And like you're like a couple steps from ending yourself or like drugs or you're abusing something or whatnot. And you don't know how to handle your life and you feel like it was completely forced on you.
Yeah.
The other kid, it was kind of forced on him, but it was like, it was done in a way where it's like, listen, I'm doing this because I just want you to be okay. Right. And so this is the best thing I got for you. This is what I know based on the calculus that's available to me. So like, and if you do this, hopefully your kid doesn't hate you.
Right.
On your way there.
And some people are that kid and they're a menace. Like they're mad at you, they're mad at the system. They got beat up in the system along the way. They never wanted to do this. The money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And now they're looking at your foot, just like.
and I'm there. I'm like, you don't even like feet.
You don't even like feet. I like feet.
You have never even asked me if I'm walking barefoot. Am I doing arch exercises? Nothing.
Yeah.
You're just gonna put my foot on the thing and get an arch support and send me out the door. Get the fuck out of here.
That's what I like about like a masseuse or a physiotherapist, because most of the time, like they're not in it for the money. They're here because they like rubbing shit. Like, dude, this guy rubs the shit out of this.
I mean, maybe he just likes touching bodies. You don't know.
That's the guy who should be massage. Like he should be in that.
Yeah.
He's not just he's rubbing the shit out of that.
Yeah. There's a stand-up comedian that has that what's the one where it's like when I have a kid I'm gonna give him to a charismatic black dad?
I haven't seen that one. That sounds good though.
And then and then just tell the dad, hey, you choose whatever my kid should do. Right? And then after you just let your kid be there, and then hopefully you get like a Tiger Woods or you get a Lewis Hamilton or you get a whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that a joke?
Yeah, it was Amr. I
I'm
forgot
a
who it is. It's
Rahman?
like essentially for me to be able to give my kid the best future,
Yeah.
right? I need to give him to a dad because a black dad will know what to do with the talents of my child.
I guess, man. I don't think Tiger Woods had a great relationship with his father, but
Yeah, he did get called the N word. That being
did
said,
he? I didn't know that.
yeah, it was like part of his training on like when he's at tee and he's about to drive
That
the
is
ball.
the craziest thing.
And it's like
I'm getting him
gonna
ready
be-
for the future.
I'm gonna be yelling. It's like so he's like I'm gonna yell all the stuff.
I remember the first time. I can't imagine the first time it must have happened
Right.
to Tiger. Tiger, and he's like, "Oh."
But his dad,
Dad?
said, I think
Yeah.
he recounted the story. I think so. Whereas like that being said, whenever you want it to
I never
stop,
used a hard R.
No, whenever you need to stop, you say the word stop.
Yeah.
And then it stops. I don't say
Yeah,
anything.
that's
Right.
retard. Like I don't want to say it,
And then-
but that's the worst parenting.
Tiger Woods said, and never said stop.
Yeah, this is horrible.
Hey, make him a champion.
Yeah, that's horrible parenting. It's like, oh, my son would tell me when it got to be too much once I racially berated him. All right, dude. Okay.
That being said, Lewis Hamilton and his father, I think that's the way how you do it. Is that no? I extensive research, brother.
No, I mean, yeah, I guess so. I think, just love your kid and put them in the thing they're interested in is possibly a good idea.
So when he was like 5 years old, he put the kid in like remote control cars.
He should have hung out with Tiger Woods' dad. Tiger was like, you know what? I'll tell you when to scream it. And Lewis Hamilton's dad's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. He's like, no, trust me, dude. You gotta.
He's gonna need it. You know what though? Here's the deal though, right? So little baby Lewis Hamilton is really good at RC car racing, right? And then it gets to a point where it's like, well, I think he wants to race. So the dad starts like works one job, then he works two jobs for him to be able to afford getting a
What
go-kart.
a gamble. That guy. I'm glad everything worked out for that kid.
Yeah. So then he gets a go-kart, right? Puts the kid in the go-kart. Turns out Lewis Hamilton, freaking natural in a freaking go-kart, right? This is amazing. He's the only black kid for miles from the racetrack, And the racial slurs started then. They were calling him that. Like the crowds were calling him that back then in the UK. Right. Now, I'm not saying his dad didn't call him the N-word. I don't know. If Tiger Woods' dad was talking to the other one, be like, see, it happened eventually, didn't it? Because
it's one thing for a father.
Yeah, no, I get it, man.
Do
I'm
you
joking.
get it?
I'm joking.
Are
dude.
you? Because it's just like, dude, it's
I'm
wild.
I'm obviously.
I know you're joking, but it's just like it's such a wild thing for imagine having the idea, right?
Yeah.
And then having your son decades from then talking about it on TV.
Yeah.
Like this guy followed through on calling his son a racial slur.
Yeah.
As a
I actually
part of
double
his
checked
training.
seeing that as we've circled a couple of times.
Oh, I
need to-
just trusted you. I'm putting this one on you. That
hold on.
because I hadn't heard that until you. I was like, yes, he knows what he's talking about. He's deep searching, deep Googling stuff. Tiger Woods' dad calling his son the N-word.
Let's see.
Oh, I think it would have come up by now.
Yeah, it would have.
Bro, you're besmirching this dead guy.
I'm pretty sure I got it right, but hold on. No.
I think the headline would have been.
Yeah, it would have
now.
been. It would have been there. Hold on a second. Tiger Woods, dad.
Dad.
Damn. How do we say story about?
I think
word
ChatGPT
and
might
then
be able to.
say stop. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it up on ChatGPT. Let's see if this works.
It's also like a lot of pressure to put on a son. Like, hey, when I start really offending you, son, you say stop. That's a safety word.
Well, is it enough? Hold on. Let me double check with ChatGPT. Now I want to double check.
Hopefully, Tiger
I'm
was
pretty sure I got it right.
Tiger Woods' father didn't racially berate his son to a point of exhaustion. He's still playing. He's got a kid. I think Tiger Woods' kid's name is Charlie.
Yeah, apparently he's pretty good.
I wonder if Tiger's like says anything to him, Like, hey, I'm gonna gobble you up.
All right. Hold on a second. You're likely referring to Earl Woods, Tiger Woods' father, used tough love and psychological tactics to shape Tiger into a mentally strong competitor. Earl was sometimes called Tiger names or tried to distract him during practice, saying, "You're not good enough, give up," to build up his mental resilience. The goal was to prepare Tiger for the pressures of professional golf, ensuring no external criticisms or distractions would shake his focus.
How was his relationship with his dad? Do you mind asking it? Like by the end of it, hey, by the end of it, how was Tiger's relationship with his father? Was it ever affected by these teaching methodologies? A little bit.
Tiger Woods had a deeply complex and emotional
Yeah,
relationship with his father.
I figured.
Despite Earl's intense and sometimes harsh training methods, Tiger remained extremely close to him. Earl, Tiger's biggest mentor and source of motivation, had often spoke. Oh, here we go. Often spoke about his father's profound influence in his life and his career. However, at the end of Earl's life, their bond remained strong. Earl was diagnosed with cancer. Tiger took time away from golf to be by his side. When Earl passed away in 2006, he had a massive emotional impact on Tiger. He was visibly shaken. Took several weeks off from competing. Even after his passing, Tiger Wood contains Earl's legacy, often referencing lessons his father taught him throughout his life and competition.
Oh, mashallah. Wild stuff, man. What it takes to become a champion. Agassi had a weird relationship with his father as well.
Yeah, hold on a second.
I think that Lewis Hamilton's dad should write a book and we should be reading it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to have to retract officially the N-word part of it. So it was just like him talking about, like trying to shake his confidence and whatnot mentally. But I don't think, he didn't say that. So
that's good.
Yeah, let me...
That's good to...
Yeah, his goal was to make Tiger immune to external adversity and especially racism that Tiger would face in the golf world. Because Tiger was already a professional golfer, and there were golf courses that still didn't allow black people to play at it.
Like major ones, like Augusta and stuff. Yeah.
Dude, that is insane.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s. And they were like, it's gone too far. He's playing golf with us? We have tradition.
Yeah.
Tradition was one of those things where like...
That is wild.
We have a tradition of believing not everybody is a person.
Yeah. So just to finish off the Lewis Hamilton thing, like real quick, is that so he gets into go-karts, and like that's when the racial abuse was starting, like he was super early in his career. And then eventually the dad had to take on 3 jobs. 3 jobs, sleep on a sofa, and because it's very, very expensive to even just get to the pinnacle of kart racing into actual like F3. Ridiculous.
Was he single father or
divorced?
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. But like,
is he hybrid?
Yeah,
Lewis Hamilton?
He is. Yeah. And then and then even when Lewis Hamilton was a full-fledged Formula 1 racer, there would be people doing blackface in the stands. In various countries. I don't know how many various countries. I know for sure there was one incident that it was definitely in Europe.
They still have problems like with soccer.
Yeah, throw bananas on the fields and shit.
It's like they have entire what's it called when you're like the club for a club, like every club has a supporting club.
Yeah.
Some of them are like openly Nazis and bigoted, and it's crazy.
It's crazy. What's crazy is that sometimes their entire team is black.
I don't understand how in sports you can be like, right? Like, how are you even competing?
Right?
Is that Shane Gillis?
The only way that you make it to the finals is that you got like 7 Africans on your team.
Yeah. My mom, I was watching the World Cup at my place with my mom and dad, and my mom couldn't tell which country was France. Because it's like France playing an African country, and she was just like, so that's the effort? She's like, but that one, I was like, yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Mom.
Yeah. You're only worthwhile if you're on the team. Like that's a good Frenchman. You know, that's the, you know, well, you're a horrible immigrant, right? They look down on you. But then when is an immigrant who climbs the side of the building on the balconies to save a kid who's like hanging on, he's about to fall.
Right.
Then they call him like a modeled Frenchman. Right.
Hey man, we're here, and there's a lot of Indians until one of them jumps into a firing car and pulls out a baby, right? Yeah. And they're like, then you're like, thank God for these Indians. They're not flammable.
I think it's going to be more. They're going to need to.
They need to do
more than
They're
just that.
They're going to form like an Avengers of Indians to turn this tide.
Man, you know what I think would go a long way for me personally.
All right.
If like every Sunday you went for a walk at your local park,
Yeah.
and it was only Indians picking up the trash, like cleaning up the parks.
Okay.
I think that warms the soul.
All right.
You know, clean park.
Yeah. You're literally saying what white people said about Muslims, and like you're literally doing it. So I don't know what to tell you, but you're like they're not really quite
No,
up
it's
to
like-
it
it's
until
like-
they
it's-
start
it's
making
like-
up for what they're doing wrong, and they're just being like they're not all. But I get it. I get it as this problem. It's like I get it, bro. I get it. There's a lot of litter, and there's a lot of them. If they all pick up one piece of litter, it'd be no litter. I get it.
We go win-win.
But it's
I think, but like every community seemed to like, you know, that's how you buy a favor. That's how like masjids should do outreach programs, right?
do.
because not all of them. So, but like, you know, we've been guilty of mango boxes on your property,
Yeah,
Right,
that's
we've-
true. I was like, wait, what? Oh yeah. There's a lot of that's true.
right? We've been guilty
Yeah.
of
Parallel parking everywhere.
right, yeah, during Fridays,
Bro.
Right, we've been guilty of instead of walking on the sidewalk on the way to the mosque,
Yep.
we're trampling over your grass.
Yep.
Like we have a community has been guilty about that, and so in an effort,
Just pick up one litter.
no,
right?
yeah, but that's exactly what
I
some
know.
mosques actually do.
They
It's
do.
like they go over, they get some food during Ramadan, they try to clean up the area or whatnot. This is what you do. This is how you build goodwill.
You know what? We should have a pickup day in our not religion, but community religion. It's like, hey guys, on this date, all
This is what we do.
masjids,
Yeah.
and they probably can't figure out that day. They're like, is it a moon sighting? Is it my calendar? Probably fighting about it,
They're fighting about it.
but it's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
Litter picking up is probably the easy. There's always enough litter,
yeah.
and after like the eighth white person goes like, did you see all those bearded people picking up? You know, they don't remember.
Right.
It's something you remember.
No, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Right. It has an effect. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna do any of those things. I'm super hungry. And plus, on top of which, I was born here.
I don't think they can tell. I know you and I can
Damn
tell,
it.
but I don't think they can tell. I think they see us all the same.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think we can be like, I've been here for 20 years. They're like, because I know my wife doesn't see it that way, right? My wife doesn't see it that way, and she's a brown.
See, that's the thing, though. What goes? I've noticed this, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in a meeting.
Yeah.
You sit down. No one knows you.
Yeah.
The chairs are ever so slightly angled away from you,
Mm.
right? And then a question comes your way, and you answer with the voice that I have,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, chairs swing over.
All of a sudden, they're like, you know what? He's one of the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Trust me. I get that. I work a job where I get that most of the time,
Right.
where as soon as I start talking, they're like,
No.
oh, Syed, yes, I think he makes a good point. And before that, they thought I was in revenue operations or like
IT?
supporting tickets or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, he's one of the talkies. He's one of the brown people that can talk.
Yeah. You know what's sad is that sometimes I'm proud of this fact.
Hmm.
You know?
Yeah, you can't wait to perform. Trust
Yeah.
me. Yeah, same here. Like, wait till I get to say my syllables without the R being rolled up,
Right.
and everybody will turn their.
Yeah.
I've done literally the CRO heard me talk and like changed me to report to him
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted somebody to mentor. She did
Mhm.
in that situation,
Right.
and I was just like, oh my god, that's a good thing I don't have an accent. This wouldn't have happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's yeah, we should pick up trash every now and then.
Yeah, I think so. All right, people. This has been episode 486. Thank you for hanging with us. We'll be back in a week. Take care of yourselves. Good night.